Hi, everyone. Welcome to our certified exclusive webinar. Today, we are blessed with Brianca Johnson. She has agreed to take some time out of her busy schedule to present some insight on building a sales funnel and how to leverage content marketing to connect with your clients at each stage of your customer journey. So Brianca will be talking quite a bit about that. Just for some context, she is a launch and marketing strategist. She's founder and CEO of BJ & Co. So once we're just very, very grateful that you could join us, Brianca, and we're really excited because we know how much of a benefit this will play for all of our specialists. So I will go ahead and pass off to you and get this going.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. I actually did this presentation for the first time August 2020. And so it is very exciting to be here full circle and to be training you. So I will tell you all that I am a very interactive teacher. I like comments, I like feedbacks. I will answer any question that you have. So if you have any, feel free to share them in the comments. If it looks like I'm looking off to the side, it's because that is where I can see you all's comments. So today we are going to learn about the social sales funnel. If you want to follow me, I have used the sticky comments, so you can click that link and follow me. And so let's get this party started. So again, I am Brianca Johnson, and we will be going over the social sales funnel. So what we'll cover is what is a sales funnel, how to leverage content in your sales funnel, the purpose of content, and then I'm going to give you some examples of content for each stage of the sales funnel. So I help corporate women package their expertise into sellable offers so that way they can profitably launch them, make more money, and live a more harmonious life. I have built my career in marketing as everything from a social media manager to a digital director. And in 2020, I quit my job as the digital director for a national nonprofit to go full-time in my business, serving my clients. I have one core philosophy, and that is that marketing is not one size fits all. So even as you are listening to today's training, as you are learning from me today, I really want you to think strategically about how it can apply to you and your business specifically, and what you could do to kind of put your own spin on it to make it feel more comfortable and make you feel more confident in the strategies. So the social sales funnel is a strategy used to convert your audience online into paying customers through content. So the whole purpose of us posting on Instagram, posting on LinkedIn, posting on Facebook is to make money. And so Instagram trends online are constantly changing, but as a business owner, your number one goal has remained consistent, and that is to make more money using your social networks. And while some of the tactics may have changed, i.e., dancing in reels, the basic strategy has remained the same, and that is you want to shorten the amount of time that it takes between someone finding your account and purchasing your offer, your program, etc. And then again, if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the comments. So some common mistakes that you may be making where concerns the social sales funnel is spending too much time promoting your offer, failing to build a bridge of connection between you or your product and your ideal client. You may be unclear on who your ideal client even is, which could kind of lead you to talking to everyone on your profile versus talking specifically to the person that you have the highest conversion with. Creating content for everyone versus your niche down audience, not educating your audience on your topic, its benefits, and how it'll change their life or their business. And then creating content without a specific goal. So before we go on, I just want to know, does any of these common mistakes resonate with anyone here on today's call? Let me know in the chat. I hope it does. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any comments, so we're going to keep this party going. So using this strategy, my client was able to enroll 98 women in less than 7 days, and she ended the year hitting her first 6-figure month. So what is the social sales funnel? Basically, it's an overlay between your sales funnel and your social funnel. And I'm going to introduce both of those to you today. Nakia said, yes, those common mistakes resonated with her. She has spent too much time promoting. Yes, exactly. So actually, that is one of the most common ones. And if you look at profiles on Instagram, you can see the people who are spending too much time promoting, and you can see based off of the number of likes or the number of comments, how that is working for them or not working. So sales funnel. The first step of the sales funnel is awareness. Now, the way that I introduce a sales funnel, I introduce it using 3 key steps. A lot of people talk about sales funnels in an area of 5 steps. The reason that I don't do that is because it lengthens your customer journey online. And really, we only need them to know who you are, why they should work with you, and to make a decision to work with you. So that is why my sales funnel is only 3 steps versus 5 steps. So the first step is awareness. The second step of your sales funnel will be consideration. So awareness is where they are figuring out who you are. Maybe they have come to your profile for the first time. Maybe they were referred to you. Maybe they found you through a hashtag, right? And then as they move through, they end up in the consideration phase. So if you have identified a problem that they are having, and they now recognize that it's time for them to solve that problem, they may be considering if you are the person for them to invest with, if you are the person who can actually solve their problem, right? So they may be toying between you and another person, or you and another expert. And then once they have gone through the consideration phase, they will make a decision. Now, a lot of times people make it seem like, oh, because they made a decision, they made that decision with you. And that is not necessarily true. They made a decision, and you want that decision to be with you. But in order for that to happen, you have to be the person who is using your social funnel to build that relationship with them, and to build that connection with them. And so we're going to go into what the social funnel is. Yes, I'm spending so much time promoting, but then crickets. Exactly. I think my problem is that I don't talk about what I do enough. Oh, these are great. So we're going to talk about all of these problems. I love this. Okay. So the social funnel is attraction. So now that someone is aware that you exist or whatever, they are now in the attraction phase of your social funnel. So a lot of times you may hear people tell you to use reels to attract more people into your audience. And basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to leverage your expertise or your story or dancing in reels, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, to get your audience to kind of like spread your expertise out and get as many people into your audience as possible. And then the second step of the social funnel is connection. And the last step is conversion. So when you look here, you see that like when you're in the awareness stage, you are attracting the people who would most benefit from your offer. When they are in the consideration phase, you're building a connection with them. So you're connecting your story, your things that you may have overcome or what you know to be true with what they are thinking about in their subconscious mind. And then when they're in the decision phase, your goal is to convert them to being your customer. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. So using this strategy, Ray was able to secure a $30,000 launch using a custom strategy that we developed based off of the social sales funnel. Purpose of content. So the purpose of your content is to move your audience through the social sales funnel in as little time as possible. So the ways to do this are, number one, creating specific pieces of content for each phase: attraction, connection, and conversion. And I want to stop here to say, like, as you are creating content, I know a big thing for entrepreneurs is to create bulk content and then to share it or to schedule it. So I want you to think back to your process for creating content, and I want you to identify whether or not as you are creating that content, do you have a specific goal in mind? So, do you know that I want to share this piece of content because I want to receive more comments? Or I want to share this piece of content because I want to see an increase in website clicks. Or I want to share this piece of content because I want to see an increase in followers. If you do not have a specific goal, right, for your content, you are already behind the curve. You're already creating content that has a less likely chance of converting. Number 2 is understanding the goal and call to action for each piece of content. So based off of your goal, there are going to be specific call to actions that will help drive your audience to accomplish that goal. So as an example, if your goal is to increase the number of website clicks, your call to action may be click the link in my bio. I hope that makes sense. And then number 3 is using your content to answer your audience's questions at each phase of the funnel. So when you think about how you make buying decisions, you have a lot of questions. That is why historically it takes people 7 to 21 times of seeing your content before they make a decision, because they have so many questions. And your job is to answer those questions as they are moving along that journey, so that way you can shorten it. So as an example, let's say that someone comes to your page and they're in the awareness stage. Their first question may be, who are you and what do you do? So you want to ensure that you have content on your page that answers that question. In the consideration phase, they may be wondering, why should I trust you? Or they may be wondering, how do I know that your what your framework is? So you want to make sure that you have content that is answering their questions at every stage of the phase. Now, a common misconception is that every single person who follows you on Instagram is your ideal client. That is not true. In the attraction phase, you are trying to get as many people into your audience as possible. And obviously you want this to be a profitable audience. So if your niche for your business is I help moms lose weight over 30 days, your audience should be made up of a whole bunch of moms, nothing but moms everywhere. So that is the goal. Attraction is to get as many people in your audience as possible. Connection is to move those people who are in your audience and to identify who your ideal clients may be. So back to the moms example. Let's say you specifically like to work with moms who are in the Atlanta, Georgia area. These are now your ideal clients. So when you're creating content in the connection phase, you're going to talk more about Atlanta, Georgia. You're going to talk more about where your gym may be located or how they can get in contact with you if you're having boot camps in that area, etc. So as you are going in the social funnel, who you are talking to is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And it may feel counterintuitive, but you see a higher conversion when you niche down into who you are specifically talking to versus talking to everyone. And then in the conversion phase, you are moving those ideal clients into actual clients. So you are getting them to say, I want to sign up with Brianca because I want to lose weight as a mom in the next 30 days. How much content? Is there a ratio of how much content to create to target each phase? For instance, having your profile at 33%, 33%, 33%. So there isn't like a hard, fast science, right? But I believe in the 80-20 rule. So 80% of my content should be attraction and conversion. And then 20% of my content should be 80% of my content should be attraction and connection. 20% of my content should be conversion. So if you were to go based off of that formula, then 40% of your content would be in the awareness phase. 40% of your content would be in the consideration phase. And then 20% of your content should be in the decision phase. And this is to help you from over promoting on your page, right? It's to focus more so on your audience than you are on and serving them than you are on trying to sell to them. So you always want to serve more than you sell. My ideal client is women of color who want to start their own virtual business in the US. Is there a way to niche it down? Yes. So you may say that your audience is women of color. Oh, Ann said thank you. No problem. So you may say that your audience is women of color, right? Your ideal clients may be women of color who want to start their own virtual business. And then your actual client is women of color who want to start their own business in the US. So women of color, right? You may be sharing content that connects to women of color. So I like to share my hair. I like to share my family. I like to share things that I like to share my fashion or my style, my makeup, things like that. Things that I know my ideal client or my ideal audience cares about. As a overall, my audience is made up of women of color who are either first-time wives, first-time moms, etc. And so I share a lot of content that has to do with who I am as a woman first. And then my ideal client is someone who is a wife, a mom, and wants to be an entrepreneur. And so then I'll niche down and I'll talk about like, how do I juggle my business as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, with my role as a wife and as a mom. Okay, I see it now. Thanks for the viewpoint. Anytime. This is where I struggle the most. I feel that I start talking to my niche and slip right back into talking to everyone. That makes complete sense. But that's why we have that framework, right? That's why we have this. So you know that when you are here and your attraction content, you're talking to everybody. You're talking to every single person who follows you. So whatever that common thread is for those people. For Nakia, her common thread is that they're women of color. So what are the plights or what are the interests of women of color? For me, it's the same. Mine is a little bit more niche down because I focus specifically on women of color who have who are moms or wives, etc. Right? So you need to identify what the common thread is between your audience, whether they're entrepreneurs. And normally it's one word, right? So they're entrepreneurs, they're women of color, they're physical therapists, they're dentists, etc. And then it goes one step deeper. And then your client is one step deeper than that. So you want to identify what that plight is. And then as you're thinking about it, right? Like this is the woman of color. This is the woman of color who also owns a business. This is the woman of color who also owns a business and is ready to launch for me. So that is my like 3 steps. So it's easy to slip right back, but when you have a goal for your content and you know that I want to attract more people, I want to connect with my ideal client, or I want to convert them, then you are able to assess exactly who you are talking to. And I hope that makes sense. All right. So using this strategy, Ashley had her first 5-figure launch in June 2021. So let's go over each of the 3 phases of the social sales funnel. And I'm going to give you some examples and some example call to actions. So again, as you have any questions while we're going through this, feel free to share them in the comments below. So attraction. In this phase, your goal is to attract as many of your ideal members as possible. So for Nakia, her goal would be to attract as many women of color as possible. I thought I had one more example. For me, it would be to attract as many women of color who have husbands or children as possible. Your content in this phase is addressing key messages like who are you, who is your business for, and you are positioning your expertise. So for me, right, I talk a lot about my dog. I talk about pregnancy. I talk about my hair. I talk about, I really like cocktails. So I talk now I talk about mocktails because I'm pregnant. But I talk about who I am as a person, who I am as a woman. And then I also talk about like what it is that I do. So a big part of my identity is my role as an entrepreneur. So I talk about what my business is. I talk about why I started this business. I talk about the goals of my business. I talk about wanting to serve over 1 million women. Like, I talk about those things all of the time because they are messages that resonate with my ideal client. A lot of my ideal clients are people who have been in corporate America, who are now taking their expertise and they're packaging it into a sellable offer. So they resonate with me when I say that I worked over 100 hours a week as a digital director. They resonate when I say that I quit my job during the middle of COVID-19 to go full time after suffering a depression from COVID-19. They resonate when I share about my dog or when I share about pregnancy. And so because I know that, I share those pieces of my story, of myself, to attract more women who are connected to that narrative. So some call to actions in that phase may be answering questions in a comment, asking for them to leave a question if they have it, and for them to watch my Instagram stories. In the connection phase, right, your goal is to connect with your ideal clients and make them problem aware. So, do you do all of this in your feed, or in a combo of stories, reels, feed? I do it in a combination of all things. So the way that it kind of shakes out for me is my feed and reels are pretty much all of this content: attraction, connection, conversion. And I just follow that 80-20 rule unless I'm in a launch. My stories is actually where I'm more personable. So I share bump updates. If Benji is being annoying, I'll share a video of him and I'll talk about it. We have date night every Friday, and so I may share behind the scenes of our date night. So I share all aspects, I feel, of my life as a woman and an entrepreneur. And I, add polls to it. I may ask questions. I recently talked about how I had to add a step stool next to my bed because I couldn't get in and out of the bed while I was pregnant. And I asked my audience, what's the weirdest accommodation you had to make while being pregnant? And the goal was connection, right? Like, I wanted them to see that, like, this is one of the challenges that I had, and for them to talk freely about some of the challenges that they may have had. And it was wonderful. Like, so many people replied, so many people resonated. And it wasn't super hard because it was something that I'm actually dealing with. I didn't have to like think too hard about it. Cocktails and Benji. We are kindred friends, love libations, and have a tabby named Benji. Oh, I love that. That is beautiful. I have never. Oh my goodness, that just made me so happy. But yeah, so then you would be able to you would be able to share those things as well if they're a big part of who you are. So in this phase, right, your content is addressing key messages like educating your audience. You're talking about why you. So what makes you different from other experts or coaches or service providers in your industry? Your storytelling that connects you to your ideal client. So do you all have shared experiences? So again, some of my shared experiences are working in corporate, thinking that I wanted to be the chief marketing officer for Target, realizing that entrepreneurship was the role for me, even though I absolutely never wanted to be an entrepreneur. Some other stories that I talk about are growing my business. So the challenges of growing my business during COVID-19. I talk a lot, or I share a lot behind the scenes of how I serve my clients, what it's like to have an online business, etc. So the whole point of this is to build connection, build a bridge of connection. So you want to identify what about you is similar to the person that you want to serve. So how can you get them to buy into you and your business because they feel like you understand them, you see them, you know them, you relate to them, and that you can ultimately solve their problem. Some good call to actions in this phase include downloading your freebie. So it's one way to get them deeper into your funnel, into your email marketing. Hopefully you all have email marketing systems. To turn on post notifications, to watch Instagram lives. Instagram now has a feature where they can subscribe to your content. So maybe that's one of your call to actions in this phase. So whatever it is, right, the whole goal of this phase is for them to buy into who you are and to buy into your business. So that way they can, stay connected, stay one touch point away. And then the last step is conversion. So in this phase, your goal is to convert your ideal clients into actual paying clients. Your content in this phase is addressing key messages like providing social proof, the benefits of your offer, transformation stories, combating objections, etc. So in this phase, you want to give them as much information as possible, maybe even more information than they truly need in order to make a decision about your offer, in order to assess and understand that your offer, your service is the offer or service that they have been looking for. Some good call to actions in this phase include DMing a keyword, clicking the link in your bio, or even commenting a keyword below. Does this make sense? And does anyone have any questions about content that they could create in each phase of the sales funnel? And I'm going to give y'all a second because I feel like when I move on, I find that you all do have a question. So just give you a second. And as I'm going through the presentation, if you all have questions, you can ask them at any point. I love questions. I like feedback. Okay. So it doesn't look like we have any questions. Okay. So when you are building out your content strategy, it's important to be sure that you are creating content at each phase of these 3 steps of your sales funnel and that you are clear what your goal is, because that's the only way that you will be able to measure the efficacy of that goal through your insights on social media. So you aren't making the call to action and conversion to buy. No, yes. So that's what this is. So if I'm saying DM a keyword, I'm saying like, so as an example, in order for you to work with me, you have to apply. So this is my conversion call to action. So I may say, click the link in my bio to apply, or click the link in my bio to purchase. I may say DM a keyword to receive the purchase link, or DM a keyword to get the application link. So whatever that conversion is for you. One of the mistakes that a lot of people make is they may be in a launch or selling something, and the link in their bio is to their link tree. But if you're in a launch, the link in your bio should be directly to the thing that you are selling, because you want them to make a quick decision. So if I'm saying click the link in my bio, it's because the link in my bio is driving them to the thing that I want them to convert to. So we are all Dubsado experts. Should we talk about more than just Dubsado on our account, or how often should we talk about it? So that's an excellent question. So even Dubsado has a personality on Instagram. So you should as well too, right? Like you should also be talking about who you are, what makes you different from the other Dubsado experts. How could they connect with you in a way? And also I want you to think, like, just because you're a Dubsado expert doesn't mean that you serve every single person who needs Dubsado. You may be a Dubsado expert for photographers. You may be a Dubsado expert for fashion designers. You may be a Dubsado expert for stylists or for coaches. Or so understanding what your niche is and then connecting that to your story will also help you to create more relatable content for the person that you are addressing, or that you have identified is your ideal client. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so some examples. I'm going to use content from my own page of content that I create in each phase of Dubsado. So here in this post, this is an attraction post. The whole goal of this was to find more women who were in corporate America. And so I talk about how I built my entire business based on the knowledge I gained while studying marketing and working as a digital director. And it just goes on to say, like, I can't tell you the number of people who are often surprised when they find out I have a master's in marketing, advertising, communication, and that I never wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur. So here I'm specifically targeting a woman who has worked in corporate America, who did not want to be an entrepreneur, but now they are thinking it is the best decision for them to create a side hustle or for them to create a business. And I want to build that bridge of connection to let them know that I am them. I started exactly where they are, and that I was also too trying to climb the corporate ladder before I made the pivot into entrepreneurship. And so this is an example of attraction content. Connection. This was actually shared today. So I am educating my audience. I'm teaching them how I capitalize on podcast interviews, because I know that this is something that a lot of the people in my audience struggle with. They don't understand, or they don't have clear steps to growing their visibility online. And they want to know step by step, like how to do it. And so I'm telling them how I do it, so that way they can buy into the fact that I'm the person that they should work with. I have clear, actionable strategies that will get them results. I leverage these strategies. My students leverage these strategies. And if they want to leverage more strategies like this, then the best thing for them to do is enroll in my accelerator. And the whole purpose of this post is to see more saves, to see more shares, to see more content, right? That's the goal of this post. I want people to be engaged in this strategy, to steal it, to come to my stories, to talk about how it worked for them, or, ask me questions about what it is they could be doing differently with their visibility strategy. So as you can see, even the visual of these posts is very different. The captions of these posts are very different. The goals of these posts are very different. And then this is a conversion post. So this is just a student testimonial. I showed that this student gave me 5 stars for my program. I use her words, and I reiterate what it was that she said that she liked about the program. So this is me leveraging social proof to show my audience, to show my ideal clients that Clarity to Coins is an exceptional program, and that they should enroll into it before the doors close on April 29th. So as you can see, right, the journey between these 3 posts is me identifying or putting myself in a relatable position with my ideal clients, showing them the different the different threads of connection that we have, providing value, so serving them in a way that allows them to take immediate action in their business, and then showing them that others have gotten results. So this is allowing them to see that not only does the program work, but that the students have good things to say about it, and that other people like them have been able to buy into this program and get the results that they are too looking for. Does anybody have any questions? All right. So Victoria secured a 4-figure client before her launch even went live using strategies like this. So I would love to stay connected, and some of the ways to do that are to follow me on Instagram and let me know how you like the training. You can connect with me at the Brianca Johnson, or you can join my monthly marketing membership, Marketing Masters. If you use the link in the chat, you'll get your first 7 days free. And here is the link. And then I saved time for us to go over some questions. So if you have any questions about the social sales funnel, now is a great time to ask them. No problem. Thank you, Anne, for attending. Loved it all. Thank you. And we have, we still have a little bit of time. So if there's anything lingering in your brain, anything that, that you want questions with, I encourage you to use this time to ask me. So that way you can all go and take fast action and get the strategies that you're looking for. Thanks so much. This was so helpful, of course. Thanks for the training and insight. Anytime. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving questions in the chat, feel free to DM me on Instagram. You can ask me anything. I literally live in my DMs, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right. If there's not any present questions, I do want to remind you though, Brianca. Oh, okay. I think we have one from Lisa. I'll go ahead and pause.
Okay. This was super helpful. Thank you so much. Do you have any tips on how to become more efficient around content creation? Actually, I do. So I teach this in one of my programs, the Profitable People program. It is $27. But one of the things that I teach is like repurposing content. So what I like to do is all of my coaching calls, any discovery calls, anytime I'm on a Zoom, I download the call and I transcribe it and I pull out things that I have talked about. If I do a podcast, we transcribe the podcast and we pull out like quips. So any good thing that I say that we know will resonate with my audience. If I introduce a framework, we pull that out. If I provide any fast action tips or strategies, we pull those out. And we turn all of that stuff into content. So as an example, yesterday on my accelerator coaching call, I gave them strategies for preparing for Instagram Live if it's their first time. And it must have been like 12 to 15 tips. And so I sent it to my virtual assistant and I said, hey, at this timestamp, I gave them 12 to 15 strategies for preparing for their first Instagram Live. Can you pull them out and share them with the graphic designer? And so all of that makes it super easy. One of the other things that I do is I only create content 5 days at a time. I am not a person who will sit for 4 hours and create 30 days of content at one time. The content will be trash. I will not leverage it. And so I like to do 5 days at a time. So we only post Monday through Friday unless we are in a launch. And so 2 weeks out is the content that I'm creating for. So as an example, Wednesdays are my CEO days. So this is normally the day that I would create content. So today I'm going to create content for 2 weeks from this past Monday. And I'm only going to create 5 pieces of content. I repurpose it on multiple profiles. So if it's Twitter, I may pull something from it and share it on Twitter. If I'm just randomly on Twitter and I say something that I like, I might screenshot the tweet and share it on Instagram. So I truly believe in repurposing content. I believe in going to platforms like Answer the Public or Google, looking at, comments that I get or DMs that I get and seeing how I can answer those questions through my content. And so the more that you do that, the more ideas you have, and then it just kind of flows from there. And conversion. Can we go through an example? Of course. Love it. Okay. So I'm struggling with connection and conversion. Okay. So connection is all about maybe what are the problems that your ideal client is having, and you want to leverage your content to address those problems. So if you have I ran an agency that helps coaches with Dubsado, web design, and branding. Okay, so and do you integrate? That may be taking it too far. But if you integrate Dubsado into web design, then one common problem would be why you may be losing leads from your attraction. So like, even if you think about the funnel from website to lead, it's normally they visit your website, they find or they click a button that's like book a discovery call, complete this application. They actually do it and then they move on. But you and I know that leveraging Dubsado, they can create sequences in their workflow that nurtures new leads. And so one of the pain points or problems that they're experiencing the connection phase is like, how do I connect Dubsado to my website? Why is it beneficial for me to connect Dubsado to my website? How do I nurture leads using Dubsado? And so your entire connection phase is all about getting them to understand the benefits of connecting Dubsado to web design or to their website, having a website that actually converts, why a website is just the attraction for their ideal clients, and why they actually need a client relationship management tool like Dubsado. Why is it important to have consistent branding across their website and Dubsado and social media? And so all of that is connecting them back to you as an expert, because now you're serving them, you're providing value, and you're showing them the benefit of the tool that you recommend. Seems much more manageable in 30. I'll make sure to check out your course too. Oh, thank you. Yes, please do. And it totally is. On average, it takes me 1 hour to create content per week. And that is about the maximum amount of time that I have to give to it. I just cannot imagine creating 30 pieces of content at one time and it being impactful or timely. So I really like the repurposing strategy. No problem. I hope it makes more sense for you. And if it doesn't, feel free to DM me and we can talk through some other examples. Any other questions?
Brianca, we have quite a bit of people that registered for the webinar that is not able to attend live. So I would anticipate you get a decent amount of DMs and contacts, but
no worries.
I just wanted to echo, we're really thankful that you're able to provide such actionable information. All these examples, I'm really happy that our specialists are able to get something from it, and for them to be able to tailor these principles for their circumstance, like you said. So again, I just want to say thank you so much. Again, she is a business owner, but also an expectant mother. So I appreciate your time.
No problem.
I hope we get to do this again. And I know that this is something that will live on in the replays and on our private YouTube list for certified specialists. So I know many other people will reap the benefits from this presentation as well. So thank you for taking the time. Thank you to everyone that's able to attend live. And please contact Brianca. She is very gratuitous with helping out and helping you break down what the ideal solution is. So Thank you again.
No problem. Thank you so much. I hope y'all have a great day.
Bye, everyone.